welcome to the Daily Draw. This is the end of our special Scottish week this week. So I really hope that you've enjoyed it and that hope that schools have been using it. I know they have. So thank you to all the schools who are using it and keep using it, keep sharing and keep in touch with us. Tell us what you'd like us to do. Today, we're finishing the week on a treat. It is my favourite princess, partly because she's from Scotland, but also because she is just absolutely brilliant. She doesn't need a prince coming along to save her because she can fight for her own hand. I'm not doing that in a Scottish accent because Elizabeth would be really cross at me. But we are going to do Princess Merida from the fabulous Brave. Let's get drawing. I'm so excited about finishing our Scottish week here with Merida from Brave, one of my absolutely favourite characters. Right, so this is what we're going to do. Don't worry if she looks hard. If anybody is new to the Daily Draw or to the Little Art School drawing and painting videos, what we do is we break it down. All of you who've been doing this for a while, you know that. You know we're going to break it down. So let's look at what's the first shapes. Here we go. Look how easy that's going to be. Circle, building on like that, and then from there we'll start to develop the curves and the lines around there, and then we're going to finish on our Merida figure. So let's put her out of the way. I am using my watercolour sketchbook today. So this is the sketchbook that I've been doing lots of our drawings and paintings in. We sell those on our shop, and that means that I can use the watercolour pencils later. The sketchbook and the pencils all come together in the set. Don't worry if you've not got watercolour paper. Just use what you can get your hands on, and you know, a bit of photocopy paper or cartridge paper is brilliant, but anything you can get your hands on. And let's get started here with these first shapes. What I might do is pop it here like that so that I know that you can see it as well as me, as if I put my book there. So right, and that will give me a really good idea as well how big I want to make it. So I'm going to start about there. She's got quite a lot of hair, so we want to make sure we've left plenty of room for that. We're just going to start here with this little circle. And it is a perfect circle, this. So you can either use your shoulder and really try and get the perfect circle. You could draw around something if you wanted. It's like about the size of a 2p. Lots and lots of little lines, and hold your pencil very, very loosely. That's the key here. And now we want two straight lines coming down, which will form her neck. Might be a little bit too wide, that. It's really worth taking the time at this stage to make sure that you've got everything about right. I'm going to take that down to about there, but I'm going to draw that line very lightly because that's going to end up being rubbed out. And then from there, two lines coming down. This will be the start of her dress and a curve. If you feel like I'm going too fast, don't worry, you can watch what I do and then pause it and catch up. Okay, I'm going to go straight down here with two lines. So you might be feeling like you're going to cut this off shorter because her waist's about there. I'm not going to the waist, I'm going longer. You'll see why at the next stage. And then from there, I'm going to take that line right out here for the side of her dress. But this one is going to be straighter, down to about there. Then at the bottom, straight line. How easy is that? First few shapes for Merida. So if you pause and get those in, and then we'll move on to the next. Right, let's start building her up here. And it is just using these guidelines that we've put in and just putting in a few extra shapes. So this is just where her hair starts to come over her face. So you've got that edge there. And then if it's a line in red, it means we're going to rub it out. So we can rub both those two lines out. This one will bring back slightly, but it really is. That one is definitely going. And if you feel like the neck's a bit thick, you can bring it in just a little. I'm going to do that there. So we've got that edge around there. And then here, let's go like that. One. And then this time I'm going to take the edge out to there. So I've gone in and then out to there. And I'm going to put in the start of her arm. So it is there, coming from there round. got that little line coming. She's got this kind of cuff in her sleeve to there. And see how handy I'm keeping my rubber here. I'm not expecting to get all the marks down right first time. I never ever do. And don't forget, I've done this before as well, and do it every day. So, and you have to. I think the secret with drawing, and you developing your skills, drawing and painting, it is your willingness to make mistakes and to get things wrong. When somebody's playing the piano, they never sit down and think they're going to get the tune straight away. They always have to do it a lot of times. I've possibly gone a bit low there, so I'm going to just take that arm to there, and then I'm going to go take this skirt, I'm going to go right round to the bottom here, beyond it, and then put in these shapes here. Bring it round. And also we've got 2 feet, one there, one there popping out. I'm just realising I forgot to put those feet in on my one earlier. So I can now rub that line out there. All these red lines can start to go. And by getting rid of that red line there, I can just put these lines in here. This is going to be her little, so kind of like, it's the strap that's holding her arrows. I think it's a quiver, that's what it's called, isn't it? A quiver full of arrows. Here I'm going to take the line up slightly and down there like that. Now, looking at that line there, so can you see here? All I'm going to do is go 1 and then 1, 2. It looks like it's just hanging in the middle of nowhere at the moment, but when we come on to the next step, that will all start to make sense. It'll all come in together. So if you pause there, and then we'll finish off. Okay, here we go with the final touches. Now, you can see here I've drawn in all her curves, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to put in an outline of where her hair is going to go. I'm not even going to put in the extra curves. I just want to give myself an idea of where it's going to go to. All that is going to come in with either your paints, your watercolour pencils, or it'll come in with your felt tips or whatever you choose to use. But we'll do all the curls then later down. So we've got her face shape in here. Let's go in with her nose. So if that, can you see there at the side? If I imagine that as a circle and go into the middle there, that is one of the little sides of her nose. That's the other, and then we've got 2 lines. That's all we're going to do for the nose. And for the mouth, immediately underneath the nose, a small line, and then another. That's it. Just underneath the nose. We don't need any more details other than that. Her eyes aren't symmetrical because this one here is closer to that side. I always find this with these characters, the eyes never seem to be symmetrical. We're coming round there. This will all look much better when we get some colour in it because she's got these bright, bright blue eyes. Now, at the moment she looks a bit odd, but don't worry, it will all come together. I think that might be because that eye is too close. Like I said before, don't worry about making mistakes. If that's the side of the nose, I think that eye needs to go there, that's it. Often you'll be able to see if it's not right, and by making sure that your first marks are very light, you'll always be able to go over. And the next thing is these eyebrows. She's got very powerful, strong eyebrows there. That's one, and the other one's kind of under her hair there. I'm going to come down a bit with that one. So that's the eyes and the face. Now here on the dress, I'm going to go underneath with a line and a small triangle and a cross. So we've got the start of her there. And then let's pop in the bow here. If I go from the side of her hair, we've got a line coming up to there and down. And then this bow is going to come here to there. And it's a really strong line, that. to there. So it's as if it's going behind her. Let's take it out here. We've got that shape there, so you're just constantly looking at the shapes coming up. And this line is going to join with that one. So we've got her bow coming across there. Now here, can you see, you can still see what I'd put in as the square there. So I'm going to miss that out and draw in those a bit harder. And then there on the sleeve, we've got this little pattern, 1, 2, and then her hair coming down. She always comes to life, I think, with her hair. Other characters, it's all about the eyes, but with Merida, it isn't. It is all about the hair. So the hair is going to come and cover this arm here, but all we want to do is just put the suggestion of a hand. That's it, nothing more. Just a suggestion there. But here we do want a small cuff there, and then a hook over. It's just a shape there. That's all the hand is. And we've got her hand coming round. And now all we've got to do to finish it off is we've got a few lines here on the dress. Don't worry too much about those. We'll do those with the colour. But coming out here, we want to put in her arrows. So start with that shape. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 little lines up. Then do a row of V's. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines there. Then another row of V's. There we go, and a couple of lines. And that's our quiver full of arrows in. So we are ready now, ready to start painting our Merida. So if you've not got paints, you can have a go now and colour her. I think before I do that, actually, I can see here, I did just say to you about not worrying too much if it's not quite right, but sometimes with these characters, one of the most important things is the eyes. And something's not quite right with mine, so what I'm going to do is just go back and check the eye, and I think it's that it needs to go a little bit further out, better, closer to the side. That's much better. And then, can you see what difference that just tiny move? It's probably 1 millimetre, but now she's looking more like Merida. So don't be worried about changing things or just playing with it a little bit. That's just what you do to get it right. Right, I am ready to paint, so let's start painting. Okay, I think this is the most of the different coloured pencils that we've used at any point so far. You can see what I've got here. I've got a yellow, the dark green, not the light green, both browns, which is the burnt sienna, which is like a red brown, and my darker brown, and my black. I've got the pinky red, but either red will do. Don't think too much, don't worry too much. Orange, probably our key colour here today, and my pale blue as well. That's going to be for the eyes. We won't be using much of that, but I'm going to start making sure I've got rid of my rubbings out. I'm going to use these two colours here. I'm going to use my yellow and my red, and that's to create this kind of very much peaches and cream skin colour that she's got. And to do that, I'm going to just go over. I'm avoiding the eyes, but going over everything else. Can you see how light that is? Oh, I'm barely touching the pencil to the page there. Just a bit of yellow, and I'm going to go the same now. I'm going to put in a bit of red. I started with the cheeks because that's where I want it. Just a bit of red. Right, so a bit of red and a bit of yellow. You can see that doesn't look anything like skin colour, does it? Like Merida's skin colour, but until I do this. And as soon as I start to bring them together, because on the page the colours will mix and blend. I might have gone for a bit too much yellow there and not enough red, so maybe go for a bit more red if you've got it. Can you see? I'm putting the red in there on her cheeks, and even though I barely put any on, you saw how lightly I pressed. You see how dark it's come there. So you really don't need very much at all. I'm just going to go round her eyes very carefully. I'm going to do the same here just on her hands. 1, 2, 1, 2. There we go. Okay, Now, while that is drying, I'm going to make a start on the dress. I'm going to go round, can you see she's got that yellow there? So I'm going to go round here, around that triangle. Don't worry about going over that because I'm going to go over that right at the end. And I've got that little bit of yellow there too. Oh, I've missed out a bit of yellow there. There should be a bit of yellow in there as well. Now I want this dress to be very dark green, so I am pressing really hard here to get lots of the paint pigment onto the page. But I'm also going to go back in here and put in that arm. And then this is my favourite bit. Nice big sweeping lines. Here. Lots and lots of green. This will all come together to make lovely paint. And I want some bits. Can you see here how we've got these bits that are darker? And the way we get those is by going in and pressing very hard to get that. Right, let's start turning it now. Bit of water on my brush, not much at all because I don't want this to be too wet. And I'm just going round and turning all this to paint. And the same down here. It's really satisfying when you're doing a darker colour because it really looks so dramatic when you touch the brush to it. And I'm going to go in, I'm going to leave those dark bits till the end because I want to come in and do those right at the end. I'll do that one there. Leave a bit of space for that belt. The more water you put on, the lighter it'll be, so try not to put too much water on. Can you see how dark those darks are going? And you'll see, if you look, if you're very eagle-eyed, because I haven't noticed, I'm not a very observant person, that I forgot to put her shoes in there. That's pretty easily remedied. I'm going to come in now and put her shoes. Well, look at that. That's the brush really captured all that paint there to get her dress in. I'm going to take the black now. Look, I'm going to have to go over and put them in here because it's bothering me. Pop in her shoes. We'll come back and turn it to paint later. And then pale blue, and we're going to put in the iris of the eyes there. And then just a dot of black. You can, if you want, just go around that bit of nose there too. I'm going to use here on the mouth. That's all I'm going to do. Just go around the edges so it shows up there. Right, so that I can get that green dry before I go on to the hair, what I'm going to do now is come in and do these arrows, and I need 3 colours here, both browns and my dark green, which you can see has barely got anything left of it there. So if I come up here with my brown, and then I'm going to use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to do the same here. Put the bottom and the top, I'm going to put the V's in with the dark green. And if I take that, I'm going to turn the brown first. I'm being very careful against the edge of the green. I don't want it to rub in. Clean my brush, then just very quickly rub it over there and rub it over there so they all go in together. That's the arrows done. Now I'm going to do here, do the bow. A bit here. And then we've got a couple of details on the dress. We've got here this the leather belt that's holding her arrows in. And you can turn that to paint. I'm going to just quickly do that like that. And then here, I'm not going to turn those to paint now. I'm just going to put them in, colour them in like that. Those dress details. Oh, there's another one there. Another one there. Now, before we go on to her hair, I'm just going to finish off a couple of bits with the black. So the first thing here is this very, very strong line on the bow. And if you want, you can go round some of the details as well here. Maybe her hands and her fingers. Bits of a dress, just to make it really stand out. But now, the bit that we've been waiting for, Merida's hair. I am going to mainly do this using my orange, and up here at the top, I'm going to start by going very strong here. And then I'm going to do it in a kind of curly way. I probably shouldn't have, should have waited till it dried before I put that in. That's my mistake. If you've not already done it, we'll just have to go carefully around it. And then I want you to bring out these extra little curls for her magnificent hair, like that. And coming in with your dark brown, here we just want, because we want it to be darker, just going in with some dark brown there. Same again, then we'll bring it over here by pressing quite hard. We've got a few little curls that come into the face here like that. Curly, curly, curly. This is so much fun. And then take out those. It's those that just look so effective when you take them out. They don't have to be the same as what I've done, just lots and lots of extra little curves. I think it needs to go out there a little bit more. And then I'm taking my brown again, and I'm going to go in there again, making that nice and strong. Right, and then let's turn. It's just a matter, I'm going to do the red first before I come into the brown. You can either leave the curves, or you can go over those lightly with the brush if you like. I'm just doing that quite lightly. Be really careful around the dress because you don't want the green to go into the hair. We want it to stay this magnificent red. And as you come into the side here, the brown will just make it that little bit darker as you come into the head. Exactly the same on this side now. Turning it with that. Being super careful around that bit there. And then you're either leaving the curves or just softening them slightly with the brush. And that is my Merida. Hope you really enjoyed that, and hope you've enjoyed the whole of Scottish Week. We have got some brilliant daily draws planned for you next week, so make sure you tune in on Monday, where we are going to be going to the magical world of J.K. Rowling for a little bit of a botricle. So we will see you next week for the Daily Draw.